What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? And welcome to this week's Smackdown recap. And as always, in these recap videos, we cover everything that you need to know about this important episode of WWE. I give my thoughts on the show at any point in the video. You guys can leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. But as always, before you get anywhere to any video, be sure to help your boy out by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload, and even go follow the socials. And you can find those links in the description of this video. That includes my Instagram account and my X account. Do all that helps me in a ton, and now let's get you guys straight into this week's Smackdown recap. Alright, so we would start it off with Damian Priest, and first he would just give homage to Cena, pretty much saying, well, what happened? You know, we all know what happened this Saturday, you know, we all hated it, but pretty much then he jumps in and says, well, now let's jump to the good times. Pretty much what he did was just pay homage to Cena, just give his personal respects. But now he, like I said, he says, now let's focus on the good times. Now that I have put Alistair and Zelina in the past, me and Rhea beat them last week, it's time to look forward, and that means looking forward into 2026. But that gets stopped real short, because then we see Zelina, she comes out, and pretty much what she says is that this is not over, Damian, and you're pretty much going to have to answer to him. And then when she says him, we hear Aleister Black's music play, and then Zelina, we think she, you know, kind of fakes us to believe that he's going to come from the entrance ramp, but he does come from behind Damian Priest, who is obviously in the ring. So then we jump into a brawl, and this inevitably just turns into Damian Priest getting laid out on a table, which Aleister Black delivers the double knees onto Priest, which sends him through the table. So pretty much what you need to know here is that this feud is far from over, I feel. They're still continuing with the chaos, with the weapons, and this feud is pretty much still going to continue. So I feel like that's really all that you're going to need to know here. That's really it. There's not much else to know. So as far as if you like this segment, it's really just if you really care for this feud, because like I said, this feud will continue on from what we've seen here. I personally think it's okay. I mean, at least I do like it though, because we're at least getting Damian Priest. We're still getting Damian Priest, and honestly, I like seeing Damian Priest week after week on SmackDown, I'm not gonna lie. Honestly though, I just can't wait till like this feud's honestly over, because I feel like it's been going on for a long time. I feel like it should have ended when the Sheamus and Rusev feud ended, but I get they're having it drag out, which is, I guess, fine, because like I said, it gives something for these superstars to do. But yeah, enough with the yapping. That's really all you got to know here. Alright, now we would jump into the Kabuki Warriors versus Lash Legend and Nia Jax, and I think this match was awesome, man. I really enjoyed this match. I think we saw some great high-flying action from Kairi Sane, some great fast-paced action just from the Kabuki Warriors in general, which I think was awesome, which comboed very well with kind of that, like, that star power and just overall strength and like better strength that goes along with Nia Jax and Lash Legend. I think all that comboed together really well in this match, which gave us just an absolute great match, man. I think this was a very, very solid match. Loved every bit of this match, man. So cool to continue to see Lash Legend, man. Obviously with that dominance, and like I said, that dominance was so compatible with how the Kabuki Warriors do run their style of matches. So overall, I think just all the star power, all the moves, everything that happened just comboed together really well, man. It just made everything so much better and just so much fun to watch. So overall, man, I think this was a very solid match. But in the end, we would see Nia Jax deliver her finishing move with that bonsai drop to, I believe, was Kairi Sane, and then we would see obviously they would win. And then in the post match, we would see Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair come out, and they would attack Lash Legend and Nia Jax. That would inevitably make Nia Jax and Lash Legend flee, and then Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss would stand tall. So I think what this signifies is that next week we're obviously, most likely, I should say, not obviously, but most likely, we're to get Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus Lash Legend and Nia Jax. That's kind of what you can most expect for next week, but obviously at the time that I'm recording this, it's not obviously confirmed, but I think that's definitely what it is symbolizing and signifying to. So we'll have to wait and see, but overall, like I said, man, this match in general was very good in my opinion. Alright, so now we would jump into Julia versus Alba Fire. We're not going to talk much about this, man, so we're just going to jump right to it. Julia does win this match. What are the possible outcomes from here? Well, it just goes from, okay, we get Julia versus Chelsea Green again. What are the outcomes of that? Oh, okay, Julia wins. Julia takes back her U.S. title. What do we do from there, man? The U.S. title division is dead. for the women's side at least, man, there's really no hope for it in my opinion at this current point in time. And even if okay, maybe Julie doesn't win, maybe Chelsea wins, the thing's still dead. We just continue on with the same route. So overall, man, I think just the division is dead, which obviously just makes this match really have zero meaning. Cool, Julie wins. I mean, cool, I guess, but really, it's not going to turn into anything major. Really, not going to turn into most likely not to turn into anything really that it's important. So, like I said, we're not going to talk much more about this. That's really my only thoughts here. And like I said, Julia does pick up the win here. All right, now we would jump into a banger segment with Cody Rhodes. So he would come out and say, "What do you want to talk about?" Well, obviously, we would end up talking about Drew McIntyre, and pretty much what Cody says is that what we should do, what me and Drew McIntyre should do, we should fight right here, right now, here in Hershey, Pennsylvania. But obviously, then we would see Nick Aldis come out and pretty much address a little bit about what happened exclusively on the WWE YouTube channel just before, just like a few days ago, where Cody would show up at McIntyre's house as McIntyre was, he was having an agreement with Nick Aldis to obviously come back. But then we would see that Nick Aldis pretty much saying that Cody Rhodes, telling Cody, what is going on with the whole Drew McIntyre situation. So he says that it is officially established that Cody, if you lay a finger on McIntyre, you can't, pretty much telling him you can't lay a finger on McIntyre. And obviously that happens as soon as Drew McIntyre fulfills my agreement that I gave him. And then he would say that, and then Cody would say, what happens if I do lay a finger on him? Then Aldis would say, Cody, I will have to strip you of that title. So Cody cannot do anything to McIntyre, and if he does, he cannot lay a finger on him, he cannot touch him. If he does, he will be stripped of that belt, man. So that is an interesting stake. But then we would see Cody tell Aldis, I think you forgot who you're talking to, Aldis. You can go ask your friend over there, Wade Barrett. He knows exactly who you're talking to, but pretty much telling Aldis that I don't think you know just exactly who you're talking to. You are talking to your champion. You were talking to the guy, or you're talking to the WWE champion. You're talking to the guy who beat John Cena for this championship. You were talking to their champion, points at the fans, and says that I don't work for you, Aldis. You work for me. So pretty much, and then that was it. That was the promo. But man, what you can take away from this is that Cody is absolutely, he is really freaking aggressive. He is really freaking angered, man. This is going to be interesting to see what happens, man. I can't wait. This continues for me personally just to get more and more interesting, man. But I think this is officially the time and the final circle, or the final ending of the circle type of thing, where we will actually see Cody turn heel. I think it's relatively close around the corner, so we will have to wait for that. But I think it is very close to happening, man. So I can't wait. Like I said, though, we'll have to see what happens over the next few weeks and months. But overall, man, this promo right here, absolutely a banger. All right, now we would jump into Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes versus Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And honestly, I really like this match, man, as well. I think this really just combined pretty much the entirety of the most recent, I would say, United States Open Challenge challengers that obviously have faced Ilya Dragunov. Obviously, Carmelo Hayes, he's faced Ilya recently for that title in the Open Challenge, which obviously he teamed with Ilya, but then Ilya and him would face Tommaso Ciampa, who obviously Ilya just faced last week, and then obviously his partner Johnny Gargano. So I think it was really cool to see it. I think this really was a very great match, man. It's pretty much, like I said, the United States Open Challenge just combined with more guys at once, and obviously in a tag team perspective. But it was overall very freaking good, man. I really enjoyed this match. I think it was awesome. I think every guy in this match did well. We would get to the end though. We would see nothing but net from Carmelo to Tommaso Ciampa. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. Ilya and Carmelo do win this match, so I think that is definitely the right call here. But yeah, I think a very great match, man, for the most part. Really not much I could say bad about this match. So overall, man, really great match. Absolutely enjoyed it, and that's really all I have to say. All right, now we would finally make it to our main event of the night, which did take place between the MFTs, 2 members of the MFTs versus 2 members of the Wyatt Six. Obviously, this one specifically, though, being Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis, because they are the tag team champions, and the titles were on the line here. So this match, overall, as you can expect, very awesome, very chaotic at the same time. So we're going to jump right into the chaos, man. So the match would not even end in a pin, it would end in a disqualification, because then we would get some beef going on outside, and then inevitably that brawling would turn into Dexter Lumis, who was involved in the match. He would come outside, he would get attacked, causing the disqualification, and it would just be an all-out brawl from there, man. It would just keep getting even. It would just keep freaking brewing, man. Just brawling between these major groups, man. Inevitably, though, we don't even really know who technically stood tall because it would go off the air, but and they were just still brawling. But overall, that's really pretty much this entire thing, man. It just was very chaotic, but it's continuing to show just the absolute hatred that these two groups have for each other, the hatred that's going to continue to be brought up in these matches and this feud. So it's awesome, man. And it's also just showcasing the chaos that we're going to continue to get, and it's probably going to just proceed to get even more, worse and even more chaotic than it was tonight. But even tonight was very chaotic in my opinion. But yeah, overall, man, it was pretty much just a absolute brawl, man. Honestly, there really is not much else to it, but I liked it, man. Liked the chaos. I think it's awesome. Can't wait. I'm enjoying this feud so far. Really enjoying to see what happens in the next coming weeks and months. But with this feud, can't wait to see the final payoff. Obviously, what's coming in the future. But this feud already, man, I'm really enjoying it. Really intrigued in it. But yeah, that's really all you got to know here. All right, well, that is going to wrap up this week's SmackDown recap. And honestly, just rating this episode of SmackDown, man, I think for the most part it was good. It was solid, but I think there is still some things in there that could have been just a bit better. So I think I'm going to go solid here for this episode of SmackDown. But as always, be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. And always, before we get out of here, be sure to help your boy out by liking the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Go follow the socials. Links to those will be in the description of this video. That includes my Instagram account, my X account. Do all that helps me a ton, and I will catch y'all boys in the next one. Peace.